I'm very pleased to be interviewing Gayle Fuguitt, who is CEO and President for the Advertising Research Foundation. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I went straight through school. So I did my undergraduate work at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And I knew I liked research. I took a lot of English classes. I actually majored in industrial relations and economics. I got a dual major. And I was very interested in personnel, and I think I look back at that point in time in leadership and all things kind of people. But I graduated and I applied for a bunch of jobs. I could have wallpapered the walls with rejection letters, and I went home and my dad said, "You better go to grad school." So I thought, well, I want to coalesce what I learned in my undergrad work into a goal and a place to be and something that will specifically lead to a job. And so I landed on this area of market research. And I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, so I went to grad school at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And you may think the story is going to take a really long time to get from there to where I am today, but actually 3 weeks after I graduated from a market research degree and an MBA at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, I started at General Mills, and I was there in marketing research for 32 years. So I started at General Mills as a marketing research assistant, and I ascended through the ranks, worked on a number of different brands and products. I worked with advertising agencies. I worked on them very closely. I worked with research suppliers. I worked with media companies. I worked with all the kinds of companies that are our constituents at the ARF today. And just over a year ago, I announced my retirement from General Mills after having actually ascended to become the first officer of research at General Mills, and I changed the name from Market Research to Consumer Insights, and I held that position for 17 years. And so just over a year ago, I retired for a full 9 months. And I had a lot of different platforms that I wanted to explore because I just really was delighted to have the time to try out different things. And so I looked at issues of women and children in nonprofit organizations, issues around spirituality, issues around design, because I'm a trustee at the Art Institute. And then I stayed in the market research industry and the research industry. And lo and behold, I just discovered that I still have so much voice, vision, and passion for this industry that when my friend Steve Coffey called me and said, "Gayle, we thought it would be really fun if you came and did this job," I put my hat in the ring, and I was thankfully selected out of over 70 candidates. So I started my job just a little over 2 months ago, and as they say, the rest is history.
So Gayle, you graduated with an undergraduate degree that wasn't necessarily research specific. How did you discover research? Where did it enter into your mind to eventually continue in grad studies, specifically in market research?
Well, I took some early sociology courses in methodology, and that was probably my first exposure at the University of North Carolina, and I was really interested in that. They were, though, more around academic research, which is fascinating, but it doesn't really move that quickly. And then I took a course that was in the business school in marketing that had a research kind of component to it, and I kind of discovered that through this kind of area of marketing research that you could do research that was akin to academic research, but it moved much more quickly, and then you could actually see the results of what you did on the shelf in packaged goods or cereal, in the case of my career, cereal or brownies or yogurt. And I just found that really exciting to be able to do research and then actually get the answer and see the result of the work that you did in a number of months instead of more the academic research timing, which can be years.
You mentioned that you went from being the head of research to being the head of insights, and I've been noticing a lot of titles in the research arena are changing. What prompted you to make that change?
Well, I mean, I think that the real thing that prompted us was, what is the output of the work that we're doing as researchers? And so if you're called, if your title is market research, then that's an output of doing the research, but it isn't an output of something that will actually help create change or growth. And an insight is actually a catalyst to change something. And so what we discovered, and what I knew about the best research that we did, is that if you had an insight, it helped the marketers think about things differently and really helped them catalyze and create growth. And at that point in time, that was in 1998, changing the name from market research to consumer insights was a really, really big change. And what I told my team is that you all know my job just changed because I was named Vice President of Consumer Insights, but I'm here to tell you that all of your jobs just changed too, because you're going to be about delivering insights that no one else has, not just delivering data.